I actually got a different beer. It was it's from Bell's Brewery, and it's not Two Hearted Ale, but it's something else Two Hearted. It's like a light Two Hearted Ale.
Yeah, it's it's the Two Hearted Light.
Oh my God, it was so good. I tried
Two Hearted Ale. Two Hearted Ale is one of the best pale ales I've ever had, and everything. When I go back to Bell's and buy anything Bell's, it's good. I can't bring myself to buy a light beer personally anymore, unless I'm fishing and it's Lone Star Light or something like that.
Golfing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good golf beer. No, but seriously, Bell's has phenomenal beer, and that's up like your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah, actually, when Michigan, where I grew up, it was right around. That's all we ever drank was that and Labatt Blue from Canada. So.
Labatt.
Bottom line is, when I was talking to you earlier. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm getting into it. Let's talk about our beers.
What are you drinking now?
Slow down, Steve. Slow down. So it's really funny. They even have a thing underneath that says.
I guess I need to tell everybody.
Lagunitas.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to see it, but underneath it says, this is how you say it. Daytime.
Okay, is that a pale ale? What is it?
Yeah, it's an IPA.
Okay, Michael's gonna love that.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I haven't even tried it yet. What are you drinking?
No, well, I was gonna say I got to tell everybody what we're doing. It's after hours real estate, and the first thing we do. Let's introduce ourselves. I guess this is Stephen Babcock roaring into 2021, just wanting to get started with what's the interest rates.
I just can't get over it, man. I've never seen it this great, and today's the day. I've never seen him this great. I mean, it just keeps happening.
There you go. I can't even finish my thought, and he's just jumping in. God,
you're drinking.
But by God, don't you call Stephen Babcock and ask him what the rate is. Don't do that, but he'll tell you. I'm Chris Peshek, Dripping Springs Home Team, and I'm drinking. So I drink this brewery almost exclusively for their IPAs because their IPAs are off the charts. It's Tups out of, is it Fort Worth? I think it's Fort Worth. Anyway, they're a Texas brewery. So it's Tups. And I didn't realize they have a series out that's called Full Grown. There's one that's a full grown man child, and this guy's got a beard and he's sucking on the pacifier. And I'm trying to, it was like it was a coffee, barrel-aged coffee porter or something like that. It was really good. And my neighbor just gave me this. This is Full Grown Nick. You can't really see because it's not focusing, but it's obviously nice, Santa Claus. Like it's Santa Claus. Yeah. And it is an imperial stout brewed with spices. Okay.
So it's that one last week, but
it's, yeah, I know. But my neighbor bought it for me and gave it to me today. So the thing is I don't know about spices. I'm not a big spiced beer guy, but it's an imperial stout, so I'm in love with imperial stouts. And this one is 12.1% alcohol.
Wow. So you're going to get more entertaining as we go.
This is like 4 beers.
I was all excited because that light Two Hearted was like 3.7% alcohol. I was like, I could drink a lot of these and be great. Yeah.
This definitely has Christmas spices in it.
I think that's called alcohol.
Not complete. No, that's a different Christmas spice. Not completely my wheelhouse, but it tastes like snickerdoodle cookies. That's what it tastes like. It's like an imperial stout with snickerdoodle cookies.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Candy beer? I don't know. What would your grandfather think?
My grandfather would laugh because he drank Texas Pride.
All right. Okay. All right. I wonder if my grandfather would laugh at your grandfather.
Or Shiner. Or Shiner.
That's good. That's good.
I can. It's going to take me a while to drink that, but I can get behind that. So I'm going to stop torturing Steve. And before we were on, can you just keep drinking this? Yeah, I mean, we really should. But there's people with full neck beards and stuff like that nerd out on beer, and I just can't do that.
My neck to beat up his dad, so it's not really.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. And of course, Michael, it's not an IPA. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. So what we were getting at before we were on board, and we started talking, and Steve's just giddy, man. He's giddy today. And I said, hey, let's just go ahead and start this and get into it. And so, Steven, Why don't you tell us about interest rates today?
I mean, the truth is, I know. Thank you. I'm happy to jump into the pit. I appreciate it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. No, the truth is, there's a lot of lenders out there that don't understand rates. They click the button, they see what the rates are, and that's it. They understand that if the market has moved in a certain direction, that the rate will get better or worse. But for the most part, they don't really understand what the bond market is, and quite frankly, I'm an amateur at best. Yeah, I get really excited, so I do. And so, the bottom line is that it's not like this. It ties into what you said earlier when you said, Steve doesn't want to tell you the rate. I don't want to give you a rate when you call, because I need all of your information first before I can tell you what your range of rates are.
And that rate's going to change twice or 3 times or 10 times before you close anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not before you close,
before you lock.
During the day, it will, right?
Yeah.
But bottom line is that you've got mortgage-backed securities, or not mortgage-backed securities. You have bonds, okay? Same thing, basically. But you have, appreciate that. You have a bond percentage, so like a 3% note on a home, right? And banks will buy these things and then offer loans to people, right? And
based on that bond percentage.
Correct. So when I'm looking at the bonds, that's basically right around what the rate's going to be, plus or minus 0.5, right? They get it for a terrible price, they got to charge you more. If they get it for a great price, they can get you a great, you know what I mean? It's bottom line is that I've never seen lower than a 2% bond, and I'm looking right now at a 1.5% bond. And I've never seen one pop up before.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to.
And that's legit shock for me, guys, because I wouldn't let him tell me, but beforehand, I was like, let's just do it live.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right, which also goes hand in hand with that 98 thing I wanted you to put up on the screen earlier.
Yeah, I'll do that when you want me to.
Oh my God. I'm friends with an agent down south. She's actually better friends with my wife than me. And she's talking to my wife. They're talking, and she says, yeah, one of the girls that work with me had a listing and had 98 offers on the listing. South Austin.
Oh my God. Who's the agent?
Michelle Hendricks is the one that told me. I don't know who the agent was. It was just through the grapevine. But I mean, I respect her and I trust her.
Yeah, Michelle's great.
She was also telling us of a couple other ones that, like, one had like 51 offers, another one had like 48 offers. I thought 17 was high. I heard 17 the other day. Apparently that's low, I guess.
I mean, 17's high, but not. Now, let's qualify that, because the first question I asked you was, what was the price point? And I guessed it was $350, because $350 is an entry-level price point in Austin that'll get you a really nice house. A house. Let me rephrase that. It'll get you a house that is not a dump. Generally has had some upgrades. Maybe it's had some paint done, some stuff like it. It's an entry-level, pretty nice house for Austin at $350 if it's 1,500 square feet. But anyway. I had to qualify that too, because it's going to be over $200 a foot. It is.
Yeah.
And so that was my guess. $350 entry level price point. Steve, what was the asking on it?
It was right around 400.
Right around 400.
You were right there.
98 offers. And I'm sure 98 offers came in over they probably put it on the market on a Friday, cut off offers on a Sunday, or maybe a Monday morning.
This is probably one of those where they left it open for the week instead of cutting it off. Maybe a new agent didn't know what they were doing. You don't need 98
or
offers.
you also may have had an agent that was wanting to just see how many offers they could get so they could brag about it. Guys, I'm going to tell you what, 98 offers makes me want to puke.
Do you know how much work is involved with
98 offers? God. It would take me a week and a half just to go through and contact everybody, verify their lenders and that they're actually good for the loan.
Yeah, it's not productive. You don't want that. It actually doesn't help. It sounds really great, but it's not good for anyone. Literally anyone. I'm actually going to chalk it up. I don't know who this was. Watch, it's a great realtor, and I'm throwing them under the bus without knowing anything. But I'm going to actually blame the realtor on this one, the listing agent. You cut them off for a reason. You take final offers once you have 20 offers, you really need another 20.
Well, but it could have happened in 2 days. I mean, think about it. It really could have. That's
why I shouldn't have done what I just did, right? Throw them under the bus.
Yeah. Well,
my
and that's
lord,
just conventional knowledge. Conventional
good
knowledge
Shelley.
says that it was on the market. Yeah, knowledge just says that it's been on the market longer than it should have been. But it may not have. But what again? I mean, I showed you guys last week. We've got this huge lack of inventory out in Dripping Springs. It's no different in most of Austin. And Michael asked, "Is South Austin desirable?" Absolutely, especially if you
It
can
is
get into Bowie High School.
desirable.
Yeah,
Desirable number one.
yeah, it's a great place to live,
Yeah, it was,
and it's close to downtown. Most of the areas within 15
right.
minutes of downtown, and you've got
It's very
shopping all over the
diverse.
place.
It's very
Yeah,
diverse.
huge.
You
Yeah,
can go to certain sections of the city that have certain demographics, but that one just has a cesspool of everybody
yeah.
because it's
And
the closest to the
cesspool
city.
is the correct word
A good
because
thing. A good thing.
Steve and I both used to live in South Austin,
Right.
so
Oh
it's
yeah. I didn't
definitely
mean
a
it in a bad
cesspool.
way. I mean, retired people, young people with just having children, college kids that mom and dad bought them a place. I mean, there's
Yeah.
everything. I mean, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
everyone
People
and anybody in between.
people that have been in their houses, our old neighbors, still live there, and I think they built the house new in 92 or 93, and they're still there.
Yeah,
So you've got
I know
people that
some.
have been in their houses for 40, 50 years down there.
Yeah, I was
Oh
about
yeah,
to say that. I know of. I don't know, but I know of some UT professors that are not making enough money to live where they live, but owned their homes now. They've owned them for like 30 years, so they're they got $2 million home.
living at 78704. They bought the house for $150,000 40
Right,
years ago.
right.
Yeah,
Paid off the mortgage at this point. Now they're I guarantee their taxes are more than the mortgage
I
ever
was
was.
about to say the
Yeah.
the taxes is higher than their mortgage bill used to be. But anyway, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's something. 98 offers. Ugh. But you
Yeah,
know
I've
what?
never even heard of anything like that before. Have you heard of anything? I mean, even in
No,
the wildest, I just never
no.
do this every day.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about why you and I both reacted so to 98 offers,
Oh yeah, please.
guys.
Please.
So from a listing agent's perspective, every offer you have to vet, especially if you're in multiple offer situations. It's my job to make sure that I am getting my seller the most money possible in their pocket under reasonable terms that I can guarantee them. That's my job at that point. Okay. So every offer comes in, I have to vet it in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Most of the time, the first offers that go are FHA loans. Most of the time, not always. In this situation, actually under 400,000, probably not, because there's probably great
Well,
FHA loans in there.
but FHA has a cutoff. The FHA purchase price is under 4. I can't
Oh,
remember.
that's right.
300
That's right.
something. It depends on county, but it's no. I mean, that wouldn't work.
That's right. So you've got to vet that. Let's just say that the purchase price was 375. Okay. As a listing agent, when people are calling in, do you have any offers yet? I will generally tell them, yes, I've got 3 offers. Yes, I've got 5 offers.
Yeah.
And because they know, as a buyer's agent also, I know that if you've got 5 offers and the listing agent is telling the other agents, I've got 5
Right.
offers, that
Right.
number's going up.
Right.
And so I'm gonna just flat out guess that house probably sold for 10 to 15% over asking.
With 98 offers, I guess 30% over asking. I mean, I don't know, but with that much, I mean, can you imagine being on the other end of this transaction? Just for a second, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's just assume that the listing agent says, yes, I've had 97 offers. You'll be number 98. So you go back to your clients. You say, okay, you've got almost a 1% chance of getting this accepted. What price would you like to offer? There's 97 people in front of you.
And then
10%
from experience,
more? Are you kidding me? What's up?
I was just going to say, then from experience, your buyers look at you. If you're that 98th agent, they look at you and go, well, what should I offer?
Right. And if it's 10%, you're going to lose a deal. I'm sorry. There's no
Throw-
way.
throw
With
a
that many
dart.
offers, it doesn't have to, if there's 5 offers, that's different. But with
Right.
98, my Lord.
Yeah.
At that point, you throw everything out but the cash offers. You know what I mean?
And realistically, that's what I was getting to. You're having to vet everything, but what you're doing is you're zeroing in on the offers that are in a certain range. Let's say you've got 10 offers that are within about $5,000 or $10,000 of each other. And you've got to look through all the other ones to make sure that somebody hadn't sweetened the pot in some way that's not conventional, because it happens. But you're going to focus on offers that are in a range of each other. And then you're going to start figuring out, okay, what's the bottom line? Because if I've got 10 offers, I'll do net sheets for every one of them. And the most offers I've had, I think I think I've had
How long,
18 offers.
how long
Maybe it
does
was
a net
14.
sheet take you to do? Just be general.
The
15 minutes, 5
generally
minutes.
15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes.
So
And so
15 times 98 people is going to be 1,107. I'm sorry, 1,470 minutes.
I mean,
You
yeah,
divide that by 60. That's 24 hours. The whole day.
yeah.
The whole day.
And I, and again, I'm going to go in and hopefully not have to do net sheets on 98 of them. That's why I'm going to vet them. So there's a certain number of those that are just not going to get looked at. If
Well, but
somebody's asking for
legally, you have to show every one of those to your clients, right?
legally, you have to show every one of them to your clients. You do not have to vet every one of them personally.
Okay. I was gonna say, oh my God, no.
Now imagine being the seller. Here, I'm going to send you 98 emails with offers for you to look through. You have to. It's the law.
It's exciting, right? I mean, it could be a lot worse. I haven't had
Yeah.
offers for the last 6 months for you, right? Like there are markets like that. So
Well, right. I mean,
No.
what are you going to do? Yes, it's a great problem to have. And the seller looks at the listing agent and says, pick one.
yeah, you know what's funny?
And as a listing agent, you go, I can't pick one. You have to pick one.
It's funny. I have this program that's you don't even have to be a first time home buyer. You just can't make more than I believe it's $78,080. Okay, it's only available in Travis County. Okay, but we know what's happening with the prices in Travis County, right? This program you cannot buy more than a $350,871 home.
Okay,
home can't be more than $350,000. Okay, if it is, you get a 2.25% interest rate, right? As long as you have a 640 credit score.
Okay.
Okay. And then they'll pay you 4% of the loan amount in down payment assistance. Okay. Now, it's an FHA loan. So tell me how many people I can get in line in Travis County who are going to find something for under $350,000, be competitive, and get an FHA accepted.
How many can you put in line, or how many can you put in houses?
In other words,
because you can put a bunch of them in line.
So crazy that it's becoming almost impossible for anybody to really buy a house that isn't going to go, look, I got it doesn't matter much down payment anymore. Nobody cares.
No.
What they care about now is if you will pay for if the appraisal doesn't come back. So if the appraisal comes back at $350,000 and you needed $380,000, well, okay, we need $30,000 extra dollars at closing to make up the gap. I don't care what your down payment was. Pay me my money. Right? Yep. I had 98 offers. I'll go get one of the other ones.
That's right.
And so all of a sudden, what used to be important is no longer important. It's very, very interesting to me to see that.
Michael, I'll talk about your question here in a little bit, but it's just
much less red tape. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It is that's the short answer. Yes, much less red tape. You don't have to worry about a third party financing agreement, which has. I'll back up. Every contract that I, as a realtor, write in Texas is on a promulgated form. It's written by the Texas Real Estate Commission attorneys. I have to use it. Basically, it is a fill in the blank form because I am a real estate agent. I am not an attorney. I cannot actually write a contract. I can fill in a promulgated form written by attorneys. Okay, there. Because of a consumer practice, I think it was a Consumer Practices Act. I may be wrong on the name of it, but anyway, for a long time now, all of our contracts, all of the addenda that go to the contracts, everything else are written to protect the consumer. Okay. If you are a buyer, you have, it depends on how many addenda that you have in your contract, but you can have 22 or 23 different outs out of the contract without losing your earnest money. The only thing you would lose would be option money. And if you have inspection money and appraisals and stuff like that tied up, but you can have 22, 23 different outs. How many, Steve, you know this, how many outs does a seller have in a Texas contract?
Oh, God. It's like 0, right?
That's right. 0. Yeah. So as a seller, you now are viewed as the big bad wolf because the state of Texas thinks you're going to try and take advantage of the buyer. And so they give the buyer all these opportunities to get out of a contract, but the seller has 0 opportunity. So that's a long backstory on there's less red tape because when you have cash, you lose addenda. You don't have appraisal contingencies. You don't have the third party financing addendum. Those things don't exist. So the buyer has fewer and fewer outs. That's why cash becomes so much more important.
was gonna say you gotta be careful who you get into bed with, basically. So when you get
That's
those
right.
offers, you need to make sure that you're getting into an offer with somebody who's not going to keep you in that offer for the next 6 months while they try and get their ducks in a row.
That's right. And there's another almost automatic disqualifier for one of those 98 offers. If somebody comes in and they need 60 days to close because they're using,
Oh, done.
what might be a
Done.
VA loan, and VA loans are taking a long time now. If you need 60 days to close, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to give you an
Okay.
out until the last day of your
Okay.
contract
Look,
because of your loan program.
I'm not allowed to disparage any banks I mean, for fear of losing my license. I'm not kidding. It's literally something I
Right.
can't do.
But there are some banks who
But you can. You can. So I'm going to ask you a few questions after telling you some facts, and then you fill
you're
in the
going to
blank
put
for
me
me. How's
on
that
the
sound?
damn spot.
So
Thanks.
so big banks, right?
Yeah.
You know how long it takes me to close, because you and I just had a transaction together, about
Mhm.
30 days, right?
Yep.
All right. The turnaround time for my underwriters is anywhere between 2 and 4 days. So
Oh,
when
and by the way, that was a VA loan,
oh yeah,
and
there
you
was
got it done in 30 days. So I just
VAs.
want to, I'm going to set the table with that because I know where you're
Thank
going.
you.
Go
But
ahead.
VA loans are the best. They're the easiest to do. Anybody who says otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about.
But you
Um,
have VA appraisers to deal with, which generally take way too long to get the appraisals
so
in.
I'll tell you what. Get to my point later. VA appraisals are the best you can possibly hope for today. There
I
was
know
a
why.
there was a rule that the previous administration, current administration put in place, which is an executive order, so it could go away. But it basically, it was that the VA is like 90% run by veterans, right? So anybody working for the VA that is a veteran who feels as though the veteran is not being taken care of by some kind of rule, right? It doesn't, it's not like we're giving loans to everybody, but if there's something in the way that just doesn't make sense, red tape kind of thing, they can vote on it to get rid of it or change it. And there have been so many changes. One of them is the appraisal. So if an appraisal comes in short, right? So again, same as earlier. You have a $370,000 home. The appraisal comes in at 350, something like that. Then it automatically triggers Operation Tidewater. Okay, sounds like a military exercise, right?
Obviously, it's the VA.
What is Operation Tidewater? Right? Operation Tidewater states that you and I, as the lender, and you as the realtor, have to go to the appraiser, which we're usually not supposed to talk to anyways, and attempt to influence the value to get the value for
They want us to
veteran.
give them evidence supporting the value at 370 as opposed to 350.
Right.
They're
And
trying to get vets into homes.
they have 3 days to relook at anything, but they have to relook at it. It's not an
Right.
option.
That's right. It's an obligation.
That is not a mandatory thing for any other kind of loan that I know of.
No.
Certainly not the ones that I'm working on. Right. I mean, that's about as good as it gets, right there.
But the only reason I brought up the VA was just because a lot of times with the appraisals, they do take longer right now. And that goes into a whole other thing with appraisers and how much they get paid and which appraisals they want to do. But not getting into that, it can take longer to close a VA or a USDA loan just because of the appraisal alone. So that's all I was saying.
Well, I was saying earlier before we even got to the VA, but thank you. I'll take the compliment. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But what I was saying earlier was that, my underwriters, when I get somebody's file all packaged together and it's ready to go and I'm going to ship it off to the underwriter and see if they give me the approval, right? Once I get everything together and I ship it off to them, it takes them about 2 to 4 days to get back to me. Okay. My neighbor is an underwriter for Chase Bank. She moved in like 2 months ago. She's great. I really like her a lot. And I was talking to her the other day, oh shoot, I said Chase Bank, didn't I? Well, I'm not going to disparage Chase Bank. So I'm just going to tell you one fact that she tells me. So I said, hey, listen, I heard that you guys were, a little backed up. They're very busy right now. A lot of big banks are. A lot of small banks are.
Oh, yeah.
And you heard 98 offers, right? You saw the rates. Refis are through the roof. So anyways, so I said to her, hey, our underwriters just turned from 1 to 2 days to 2 to 4 days to get back. I've heard of other banks being higher up there. How's yours doing? And she says, we're about 30 to 45 days. So, I mean, if you need that much time to get an answer back from your underwriter, typically you need to get an answer twice. You do an initial submission. The underwriter says, okay, I like everything except for this, this, and that. I need these documents here to support this kind of stuff you're trying to prove here. So let's get that, and then we'll, submit it to me again.
Yep.
Okay. So if it's going to take you, let's throw out the 45 day. Let's just say 30 days. That's going to be what, 60 days just to get an answer from underwriting? And that doesn't include the rest of the work that went into it?
That's right. So there's a 60-day, we'll just call it a 60-day close. But again, as a listing agent, if I've got 98 offers and I see a 60-day close, I've got to show it to my clients, but I will tell them this is a 60-day close. This don't even.
Now, that being said, the same underwriter told me that she has a few loan officers at Chase that are so good, they always get their stuff submitted and passed through the first time, which is almost unheard of in lending, but fine.
It is.
And if that's the case, they can do the same 30-day close I can. So again, I'm really attempting here not to disparage anybody else, but
it's just facts.
You know, the industry's backed up right now. It's crazy, is really what I'm trying to say.
Yes, that upgraded microwave will get you 370 grand. I talk about it all the time, dude. It's the best thing. You go in. This tile was custom laid by my dad. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
And
we're talking about upgrades. When people, I want to know about what upgrades you have in your home because I got to know how to price it.
You know, I love that people are even worried about upgrades right now when there's 98 offers. You know,
I'm gonna. You know what? And this does not change my mind because, and I've got a real estate friend that's in Midland, and Caroline may actually be watching this. She called me today. She's got a friend here that's got a house, and she wants me to help with some comps on it and stuff like that. And I flat out told her, I'm going to tell you everything I tell any of my clients. If you have the opportunity, do not sell your house. Don't sell it. Why?
Because there's 98 offers. It's a seller's market.
Why? When your neighbor's house sells for 98 offers, does that make your house more valuable or less valuable?
Well, obviously more, but at what point do you have enough, my friend?
So try this on for a second. How many kids do you have?
2.
You're probably going to be a very proud dad if one or both of them ends up going to college or doing a trade school or whatever. At some point, dad's going to need some money. Do y'all have a 529 plan?
No.
You don't. What are you doing for your kids' college?
Right now, I'm working my ass off to try to.
I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out on the rug.
Yeah, no, I could do more.
So here's my point.
We've had a few curveballs with our children, but yeah, keep going.
Well, yeah, everybody does, but yeah, I get it.
With my second child, Luke.
Yeah.
We've had to pay for a lot of specialists, so any kind of that went out the window real fast.
Additional, yeah, but and okay, so additional cash. So I'm going to take your old house. What was your mortgage on your old house?
4.125, 30 years.
No. What was your mortgage? What was your PITI?
Oh, when we left, it started at like 1350 and went up to 1450.
Okay, so you refied it. What was it, 1,800
No,
square
I
feet?
didn't. Taxes, insurance.
Oh, tax insurance went up. I got you. Well, 1,800 square feet ish.
Roughly, man. I had this memorized a year ago. No, it was 1350.
1350. Okay, so that house in South Austin would have and y'all had redone it. It was nice.
Bought it for 237 and sold it for 350.
But
January of last year.
But
probably would be what, 400 now, 450.
Bingo.
Okay,
had you kept it last year, put renters in it, you probably could have leased it out for $1,600 to $1,700 a month. You would have been cash flowing $200 or $300 a month. They would have been paying down your principal. You would have been nothing but positive cash flow, even if you sold it this year. And then
not everybody has money laying around for that. I had to use the money from the sale of the house.
I always say, if it is possible, do not sell your house. If it's possible.
I hear what you're saying. But at some point, you get to the top of this mountain, and it starts going back down.
Okay, but let's play this game for a second, because I'll argue this all day with anybody. One, in the history of Austin, Texas, can you tell me how many years we've had with negative appreciation?
That wasn't my point. My point was eventually it has to end. You're telling me it's going to go on forever?
Nope, I'm not. But I'm asking you, in the history, which is the only thing we can do, because you and I, neither one of us can project the future.
Of course.
For your and my lifetime, it could continue to go up or it could stay stable. So let's say that right now it stays stable, but you're still cash flowing $400, almost $5,000 a year on that house. Okay. For the foreseeable future, until your oldest kid is ready to go to college. So what is that? 12 years? Okay. 12. Let's just call it easy. Let's call it easy. 5,000 times 12, 60 grand.
That's not long. Oh, God.
60 grand.
Time for another beer on that math. Thanks, brother.
And then, I'm not done. And then
Anybody want to donate me some money for the kids' college?
how much how much principal pay down is going to happen over the next 12 years?
12 years, less than a half.
Okay, so call it half or less than half. Call it 100,000 out of a
Fine.
237,000. So
Fine.
now you're up to 160,000 over the next 12 years. That'll pay for some nice college, won't it?
You don't
Obviously, it's not
explain
perfect.
it
You've
to
got
me.
maintenance,
Brother,
and things like that.
when we had our first kid, he also got meningitis when he was 3 months old. We had to go to Dell Children's Hospital. He stayed there overnight. It was, I'm telling you, brother, it was the worst financial time of my entire life. And when we sold that house at a much inflated price than we bought it for, it helped us pay off enormous amounts of debt and buy a new home. It was almost double the size out on the lake.
Yep.
Not on the lake. I would have been even nicer, right? But I
Near
mean,
the lake.
I mean, the stone's throw away.
Yeah,
And,
near the lake.
you know, for me, it worked out perfectly. Now, if you don't need to do that and you don't have a special needs kid that's draining you with expenses and hospital stays, etc., then great. Please stay, right?
And that's my point. In this market, if I had the option to not sell my house to buy my next house, I would do it every day of the week,
By the way,
especially if I had kids.
And you're right. And by the way, I'm reading Mr. Smith's question here, and no, that's not true.
That is 100% false.
You can use your VA loan on more than one house, believe it or not.
That's a fact. We'll go into that on another episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael, no, that is false. So what we were actually going to talk about today. Well, we talked about the 98 offers, which, I mean, that's the best part. We're 30 minutes in on 98 offers. And by the way, I'm still floored. That's obscene.
I mean, I've never even heard of that in California or Seattle. Or I mean, I've never heard of that before. I heard somebody tell me they thought Seattle might have been close to that, but I don't. That's just outrageous. And even the other ones that I heard, like 51 and offers and 47, and I mean, you could have somebody exaggerating at 898, but still, I mean, half that's still a ton of offers. You know, I mean, you get 5 offers. That's
a lot. You're
blessed. You're blessed. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a great market to be in when you're selling. 5 times 10 is a different question. I mean, that's almost a burden.
And I went back and looked, and the one I was talking about, which was in Circle C, I guess 2 or 3 years ago now, we had 14 offers on it.
Yeah.
And it was a pain in the butt. And, you know, like I said, your seller's looking at you like, tell me what to do. You know, and on that one, I was able to, it wasn't that many, and I was able to run net sheets on all of them. And it was pretty obvious that, you know, that there were 2 that were really good. There was one that we preferred the terms on. It was a little bit lower than the other one. So we just called the agent on that one and made her a counter offer to get their price up, and they took it. So yes, you can counter offer multiple offers as well.
Yeah. My wife and I did. You know what they say is the agents make the worst. What do they say? The real estate agents make the worst.
I will never sell. Yeah, I'll never sell another one of my houses.
Right, because it's you're the worst person to do it, right? Like,
yep, absolutely.
Well, my agent that no longer practices, except when we buy or sell our house, right? So we obviously used her to save some money, especially after everything else I told you. And I thought I knew better than her, and she, you know, knew better than everybody, and she's a realtor, and quite frankly, she did know better than everybody. But I did an appraisal first as a lender, not realizing that the refinance appraisal will give you a different value than the purchase appraisal. Technically, it should not, but I mean, it's the same logic that the city should be giving you the correct, you know, taxes when it doesn't. It doesn't tell you, you know, what your home's valued. So, you know, same kind of thing, right? And so I used that appraisal, and I'm like, no, we're listing the home for this price, and of course, it was overpriced at the time. And this is before COVID, so I mean, the offers weren't there. We stayed on the market for like 3 months before we found somebody to buy it. Yeah, I felt like such a jerk, man. And then fast forward to today, you know, so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a big.
What were we going to talk about before the 98 offers? What else were we going to talk about?
My wife said I was the best person to sell our house. By the way, she's driving. What are you doing watching me while you're driving? Jeez. Or she went to pick up curbside, so she may be sitting in the HEB parking lot.
Hopefully that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I said, and we can do this on another one. I said, let's chat about where a down payment can come from, starting with what? I don't even know what I wrote.
No, I like that though a lot.
With no down payment for specific loans to your funds, gift funds, and seller contributions. That needs to be a separate thing because we can get into that. But a lot of people don't know that you don't have to pull the down payment out of your pocket.
Correct.
And I'm going to go back to 98 offers. Go ahead and say what you were going to say. Sorry.
I was going to say 401ks. I mean, a lot of times you can pull it from your retirement account, whether you knew it or not. Oh, here we go. Question for me. Thoughts on trying for a refi if we've lost significant income due to a job loss? That sucks. I'm very sorry. So real quick.
Bought it in 2011, and I know where they live, so there's considerable appreciation in that house.
So what's going to matter to me is your overall debt to income ratio. Okay. If you've ever heard the general rule of thumb that you can't really, or you really shouldn't rather, spend more than like 1/3 of what you make on your rent. Well, the same is true in lending, but it's about 40%. So not even counting debts, because that's a whole nother ratio to talk about. You would want your income, monthly income before taxes, okay? 40% of that number can be your house payment. So if you think the house payment's going to be wildly higher than that, then you don't have a shot at refinancing at all. And I hate to say it that way, but I also have been accused of never lying, but never sugarcoating, and often being very blunt. So sorry about that. Truth
is, from the Midwest, it's what they do.
Or well, yeah, I'm a lender. I don't do any. Once you start sugarcoating as a lender, you get to closing, people don't qualify, and they, put death threats out on you. You know what I mean? So it's, at the end of the day, not really, but kind of. At the end of the day, here, I'm a little blunt, but Amanda, I would tell you to 100% definitely look into it just to get the answers. I don't know who's doing soft polls besides me right now. I'm sure there's other companies, but I'm doing soft polls. So if you wanted to just apply with me, I would do a soft credit poll. It would not affect your credit score in any way. Just to get some answers and to see, what options you might have in front of you.
And I guess it's worth noting that she lives in a neighborhood, so very well could not be her that she's talking about. But anyway.
What do you mean she lives in a neighborhood so she can't talk?
She's got a lot of neighbors, and that neighborhood that she lives in, they talk a lot, like it's a very close-knit neighborhood. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Amanda that we're talking about.
All right, well, fine. Bottom line is I'd love to get some answers and help whoever it is that's asking the question.
And Michael said, my wife hit him. Michael, you just heard me go on and on about how you should not sell a house. I'm leveraged to the hilt right now. You ain't getting crap.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip, brother. So
then when is a good time to sell, Chris?
You've got to have an exit strategy. It becomes an investment. My advice, if you're my client and you tell me, hey, I've got 2 kids, one's going to college in 12 years, I can keep this house, what do I need to do? I say, keep it, rent it out, take that money. You can use the extra $300 a month, $400 a month to help make your house payments. Now it helps you get in a pretty nice house, which, by the way, you can't use that immediately. You have to have a rental history in order to claim that as income, but you can talk to Steve about that later.
That's a long time, but yeah.
Well, that's a good point too.
That recently.
$20. I got you $20, Michael. We'll be at 12 Fox on Thursday. I got your beer. Does that work? But I would tell you to have an exit strategy, and I would think the exit strategy is probably the year before your kid goes to college. That's when you cash out.
All right. It's funny. You and I have a slightly different view of this. Obviously, we even had somebody say fight earlier. Right? but what I tell people is, put the minimum down possible. The average person moves every 4 to 7 years.
Yep.
And, don't listen to your parents that are telling you to put 20% down that bought their home in the 80s, because back in 1983, the interest rate's 0.5%.
Right.
You bought your house with a credit card, right? Today, man, I'm not kidding. I had a UFCU quote that I was trying to compete with Friday. It was on a 15-year note, and I got close, but I didn't get to it. They were giving them 2%, 2.0%.
Okay, but here's my.
You want to pay that loan off fast, or you want to invest your money someplace else?
So it can be 2 different things, and I'm not saying pay your loan off. I'm
Well, you were
saying
also
keep your
talking about
loan
the
where
benefit
it
of
is.
paying a loan off. I don't think there is
No,
much
no,
of a
no,
benefit
no.
of paying a loan off.
I
It's
was
just
talking
interest.
about the benefit of paying a loan off. That was a long time ago, not today.
Sure, it's been this long, so you have that much equity. Sure, okay, I get it.
Right. And the whole point is you're not the one paying that equity down. Your renters are.
Okay, sure, but you don't make money when you pay off your loan. You make money when the home goes up in value.
Right. And that's fine. And over the next 12 years, if you want to treat your home like an ATM and refi and pull cash out every once in a while to do other investments, that's fine. But all I'm saying is you've got a fixed interest rate stuck in 2017 or 15 whenever you bought the house. Even if you refi it down but keep it, it's fine. But you're basically you've got this little microcosm in time before all this crazy appreciation when you bought this house. And you're paying that note down. You can refinance that same amount. You just because you owe 230 doesn't mean you have to refi 350 and pull out cash. You
See,
don't
I,
have
I
to
see
do
where
that.
I see where you're going with this, but I also think that if you sell your home and move into the neighbor's home, the homes are still appreciating at the same time. You know what I mean? Or the same amount. So it's besides closing costs, it's kind of a wash. I'm playing devil's advocate here. How am I
You're doing terribly because
doing? Okay,
if you sell your house last year versus selling your house in
but bought a
12
home
years,
the day after. Now this home's gone up in value too.
that's fine. But what if you not only bought the home, but you kept your old one? Now you have two houses
Right.
appreciating at
Well,
the
yeah.
same rate.
Touche. If you
That's
can,
that's what I'm saying.
I have mentioned that to people as well. That is correct.
If
And I don't
if
differ on
you
that one.
can, if you can, that's the key three words. If you can.
Yeah, I got some lenders that I've known some lenders that buy homes every time they have a kid, and they just call it the college fund. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. They buy the home, they rent it out, and when the kid's ready to go to school, they're going to sell the house.
Yeah. And when they go to school, they're probably going to end up buying the kid a kiddie condo. And
They,
then when the kid is out of college, they're going to sell that because they don't want to pay rent. And it makes fiscal sense. It really does.
there's
There's a
one
lot of
guy I
logic
know that he's going to sell the home or offer the option. I'm going to sell the home. You can go to college using the money. I can sell the home and give you the money,
there.
or
Right.
you can keep the home.
Right.
One of the things.
What's wrong with that's an amazing idea.
And then you get to use it as a tax write-off for your kid's life, right?
And
And
at
then,
this point, I mean, if you've got a kid that's just born and you're doing it, hell, I'd run out to one of the outlying areas, Kyle or Buda, and buy a brand new home because the prices are still fairly low. Your interest rate's going to be ridiculously great. And that house is only going to be 17 years old when your kid goes to college.
I've also heard that there isn't like a 30-person waiting list at those out that far out. Is that true?
Imagine that.
Is there still? I don't know.
There are some I hate this phrase. I will never use this phrase with one of my buyers, but it's a phrase for a reason. And the phrase is drive until you qualify. So the further you get out from Austin, you have less competition, you have lower prices. I hate it. It pisses me off. I hate that phrase, but it's legit.
So I'd always hire a property manager. I'm sorry. That would every
I would.
day.
Yeah. And the point is if you've had the house for more than 5 years, chances are the property management will pay for itself or your renter will be paying for the property
Yeah.
management.
Are you, Michael, are you going to use E-Trade or are you going to use a financial advisor? That's really
Exactly right. That's
right.
exactly right. Now, me personally, I'm telling you right now, I would want to be the one that would try to do the management on my own because I understand houses. I've built houses. I've done the repairs. But at the end of the day, I'm stupid for doing it. It's stupid to do your own.
I agree, but you know what you're doing, so it's what I mean. Like
right. But if it makes financial sense, if you don't have to pull money out of pocket to do it, to me that's the big differentiator.
Yeah, the problem, Michael, is the time drain, and it's 2 a.m. and my water main blew up. What do I do?
Yeah.
That's the obvious reason to have a property management company, but
yeah,
the non-obvious reason is the stuff that you don't pick up on, the things you wouldn't see when you went to the home. That maybe you've owned 5 or 6 homes in your lifetime, but this company manages 312, kind of thing, right? And they have to take care of them every day.
And not only that, they have their own repair people.
Right.
And so when they do a make ready, you can have tenants move out and 2 days later, you're ready to put people back in it. It's got brand new carpet and brand new paint all throughout. I mean, it's
you get the property management company that's tied into your incentive. So if you don't get paid for a month, they don't get paid for a month.
That's right.
So it's their best incentive to make ready and find you a renter. They also find you renters. And keep in mind, if the renters don't pay, then they don't get paid either.
That's right. They're going to find you good renters, or they're going to do everything they can to. And I've got a really good property management company here.
If you want to quit your job, then do it. But other than that, I would say no.
Yeah. And we've been going for almost 45 minutes, and I'm going to drop one other bit of nugget info that Michael's going to love, I think. In addition to keeping an old home or something like that, if you've got if you can find it in the place where you want to live, go out, buy you a duplex, house hack it, rent out half of it, use that to help pay your mortgage, because that's one of the loan programs that Stephen was talking about, where you can actually count that income ahead of time, and live in half the duplex, rent out the other half. It'll lower your liability. And then when you want to go buy another house, now you've got 2 income producing properties.
Yeah, FHA loans let you do that. So you put
FHA loan will let you do that.
You put 3.5% down, and then after 1 year of living in the property, you are legally allowed to move on. You can't have more than one FHA loan. So then you would refinance the mortgage, and into like a conventional, and then you buy another one with an FHA loan.
Can you buy a duplex with a VA loan?
Yes.
And house hack it?
Actually, that would be the absolute best way to do it,
because then you could use your VA for the next one.
What you cannot use the VA loan for is an investment property. Okay. But if you live in it, duplex or the quadplex or the triplex, then it's not an investment. It's your primary residence and an investment, but they look past that. It's really an investment. And then, Michael, you could then buy your next home with the same VA loan, assuming you didn't use up all of your eligibility on the first home loan.
And that's the key on the VA. We need to talk about maybe that next time. Yeah, the eligibility.
Yeah.
All right, man.
How much are you eligible for? That's the question. You use up that eligibility, and then if you have any left over, you can still use it again. So, yeah. All right, brother. Thank you again for this. This is fun. Cheers.
Yeah, dude. Cheers. 98 offers.
Crazy. God.
All right, guys, we're here every Monday drinking a little bit of beer and talking real estate. And I got a little worked up today, man. Some of this stuff kind of, and I'm sure that 12% beer didn't help.
I was about to say, it's a damn 12% beer you're drinking, brother.
Well, but I'm passionate about some things, man. I'm passionate. I want to see people succeed and end this crazy game with, end it comfortably. Don't go paying for all your own crap necessarily. Have other people pay for some of your stuff.
I think you should start looking into 3D printed houses again. I know that you know more than the average bear, right? But you could build a whole home for $35,000 that's tornado proof in a neighborhood with tons of them, and start selling off homes that are affordable to people again. Don't know why nobody's doing this.
You know what? I just saw something today that, all right, we're going to talk off air.
Maybe next week's topic. Thank you very much.
Later, guys.